It's time for Losses Above Replacement, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears, with your hosts, Alex.
Gosh, I have so many questions. Also, where's my car?
Splash.
Strive to love something as much as my grandmother loves buying new crock pots.
And Mac.
If you've ever been to Boston, you know that they have amazing ice cream.
Coming to you from coast to coast, it's L-A-R.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Losses Above Replacement, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears. I am today's host, Alex Clark, joined today by just one Ryan Splash Potts, no Matthias Altman Kurosaki today. So, Splash, my main man, how are we doing today?
I'm in awe. Out of the 70 episodes we have, you had to choose a Boston-related nugget for Mac. I get the crockpot one because that's funny, and the "Where's my car" thing, that was recent and funny. But boiling a Mets fan down to a Boston reference is quite hilarious to me.
I just find it funny the fact that a guy that's from New York here, that now, at least until we update the intro again, that his line is about Boston and praising Boston. Something about that I was tickled by.
Yeah, it would be like if you got a clip of me praising Skyline Chili.
True. Yeah, fair enough.
Skyline is the only good thing about Cincinnati, by the way.
I had time to make an intro, by the way. I think it turned out pretty good, though.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's a check for me.
Fair enough. Heck yeah. But other than that, how you doing, man? We're Macless today. Game 3 of the playoffs here for the NLCS just concluded, and Mac, understandably, it's very late over there. It's a little too tired, so we're gonna go ahead and record just us here. So, how are you doing here? As neither of our teams are in the playoffs.
Yeah. What are the playoffs? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know either.
I'm vibing. Just working a lot, and I've been playing Lego Star Wars recently.
Oh, nice.
So that's exciting. I would like to complete it all in under 24 hours. So I've been doing like little piece by little piece instead of, I guess like maybe 30-minute here, 30-minute there, instead of trying to play for like a couple hours and getting distracted and like, oh, I'm going to go take a phone call, or I'm going to go, go to the bathroom or whatever. So we're through episode 2. We're through the, I've killed Count Dooku. That's the point where I am. Also, Count Dooku, underrated Star Wars character.
I mean, I respect it. Yeah, I mean, like when I try to complete games, here's my question: are you trying to 100% complete, or are you trying to just beat?
Yes, 100% in under 24 hours. That's the goal.
Okay. That I respect it. That is a admirable goal.
I do not know if I can complete the challenge. I know I completed the game before, but I haven't. It's been a while since I've done like the blue mini kit things.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
There's a number of games that I can complete. I just most of the time have no real desire to, or like it's just way too much to try to complete it. Well, I would love to try and like complete like a Pokemon game one time within like a 1-day period. I don't think it's that likely. I mean, I've 100%ed both Scarlet / Violet and Legends Arceus because kind of have to in order to play some of the game, but regardless, I'm doing
100% at Indiana Jones.
Oh heck yeah, very nice.
Yeah, very fun. I should do Batman one of these days. I've never finished Batman. I finished Star Wars, I finished Indiana Jones, I finished Indiana Jones 2, but I haven't finished Batman. Had it for years, never finished.
That's fair. I'm trying to think. I've been recently playing Mario Tennis for the GBA through the Switch, and we'll get one amazing, really fun game. But trying to complete it feels really slow because you still have to do 6 game sets as opposed to 2 game sets. But it takes a while, but it's still fun.
I could go for a nice tennis game. Like if tennis or golf had like a good game, like those old Tiger Woods games, I would play those for hours. I've downloaded the recent one, I think on the PS. No, I got it on my next gen console, and like it just is beautiful. Now I suck at the game, so I didn't want to play it for very long. But it's just the vibes are immaculate.
I'll tell you, if you like, honestly, one of my favorites of all time, you can play it on your Wii, is Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. It's still an amazing golf game to this day.
May have to try it out.
Yeah, it's good. It doesn't have too much of the wacky stuff in it. Like, it's still fun, but you don't have to worry about all these power-ups and all that. You just you're playing golf. You're having a good time.
Perhaps I should buy Mario Super Sluggers one of these days.
Yes, absolutely. You should. It is a legendary game.
And tell us about Backyard Baseball for the.
Oh my gosh! Thank you. Backyard Baseball 97 is amazing.
Does it only have the kids, or do you have MLBers in it?
It's only the kids.
97.
Well, no, 97 only had the kids.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I know, but I'm familiar with the games with MLB players.
Yeah. Well, so they have announced that 01 baseball is coming soon, as well as 99 football and a few other ones that do have pro players in them initially. I'm curious to see if they are going to bring some of the pros back or able to. It's going to be a whole mess.
Yeah, the NIL stuff.
Yeah. I will say this. I have already gotten, I think, 80% of the achievements through Baseball 97. No, I basically just binge played it for a few days, and it was amazing. Went through an entire season, took the the Mighty All-Stars all the way through the Super Tournament of the World, and won. So I won that, as well as done a few of the other fun challenges, such as get a splash home run. Did that, of course, at legendary Steel Stadium. They also
did that at Oracle Park. I was thinking AT&T Park because
I was about to say,
at Candlestick, he hit the home run Candlestick.
Oh, beautiful!
He hit it at the Polo Grounds, the opposite side of the country.
But I also got the hit the homer into the trash can at Tin Can. It's not Tin Can Alley. I can't remember what it's called. The one I'm struggling with though right now is still trying to get the home run in Tin Can Alley without using a power up, because you're basically just surrounded by buildings. It is very tough to do. So I've been kind of grinding on that, but I've got almost every other. The only other achievements besides that one are just the play the game a lot achievements. So like get a bunch of home runs, get a bunch of strikeouts, get a bunch of grand slams. So
I think we've had this conversation before, but if I were the czar of college football and made the video game, I would have so many achievements. I would have you're a Washington guy, or Washington the state, not Washington the football team. So if you won the Apple Cup, you get trophies for it. So you get a bronze Apple Cup, silver if you win it 5 times, gold if you win it 10 times, so on and so forth. And I could imagine myself with platinum Apple Cup, platinum, all the Big Ten stuff, like the old Big Ten, like Minnesota Big Ten, not like the new Big Ten, the Cyhawk Trophy, have 10 of the just art upon art, and you could play that game for hours, learn about all these new rivalries. That would be my focus. I know the new game has a lot of people that like it, and you have the recruiting stuff and the NIL and Road to Glory, but the simple things like that always tickle my fancy.
Same here, 100%. I do want to say one thing before we get started, though, back on Backyard Baseball. Thank you so much here to Mega Cat Studios and Playground Productions. Amazing getting to bring this back. And also, this is a little hint on it. I just want to say thank you to you guys as well. The little shout out at the very end at the very end of the credits here to Humongous Entertainment here for all that. They couldn't use the likeness in the game at all, but giving the little shout out at the end, being like, yeah, it started with you, so thank you, was absolutely amazing. So with that being said, it's time to talk about baseball in our realm here, our realm of the living.
Whoa. Are we sure Backyard Baseball is not real?
Yes.
Darn.
Unfortunately.
Okay. I mean, I'd rather watch that than the playoffs right now. But,
same, but hey, if you want to, I can stream Backyard Baseball for you.
Shoot, that would be great for content.
That'd actually be really good for content.
Alex.
I might end up Okay, you know what? That you make a fair point. I may end up having to do that pretty soon.
I had the whole jank stream with my phone and the Wii and the TV. I've done a couple of those.
You have,
Backyard
and I
baseball
can
is much
definitely do
easier.
it.
All
It
right.
is much, much easier. Yes, I'm looking at my phone because I'm trying to find. I sent a picture of the longest home run that I've ever hit. Oh yeah, there it is. Ahmed Khan, no power up, hit a 621-foot home run.
Okay, Mickey Mantle.
I don't know how that happened. I must have hit it like not just perfect, but perfect.
Into a jet stream, maybe?
Into a jet stream. You know, possibly. It was during the playoffs, too. So, hey,
He was
clutch
amped
Ahmed
up.
Khan. Speaking about the playoffs have been underway for a good while now. We are now in the championship series in both the American League side and the National League side. Here on the American League side, you have the Cleveland Guardians taking on the New York Yankees. On the National League side, you have the Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the New York Metropolitans. So before we get to those series, let's talk a little bit about what led up into this. The last time that we had our podcast here, the only team that we knew for sure that was going to be in the playoffs here, remind me, which team was it?
We knew the Mets would be advancing because they just beaten the Phaloos in 4 games.
Yes, it was the Mets at that point. So we still have a few other series that we need to talk about, at least just a little bit. This is not going to be a 3 words only, but if we just keep it fairly simple.
Might as well be.
Do you want to make it an impromptu?
Yeah, let's make it 3 words only.
Heck yeah!
Great podcasting right here, right now.
Call on the spot. Let's go, boys. All right, let's start it off then in the American League side with Royals v. Yankees here. And I'll go first on this one, so I can give you some time to think of 3 words for this.
Sure.
My 3 words are magic ran out. Like, honestly, this one, the Royals as well as the Tigers were like the 2 big Cinderella stories coming into this postseason on the American League side. And after taking down the Orioles, people thought, okay, you know what? Maybe the magic of Will Smith is actually true.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, maybe it's actually true.
He lost a playoff series.
He did lose a playoff series, unfortunately. But they just went up against the juggernaut. It wasn't I'm wearing a Pokemon shirt here. The fairy type, the magical type, gets dominated by the steel type. Like, it just didn't work out for them, and it didn't even feel that good. Like, it was 3-1. So the Yankees proved their dominance here and became a team that right now are looking to be almost locks for the World Series.
Mm-hmm. My 3 words are evil empire expands. They're back. They're better than ever. They have multiple Hall of Famers, including number 27. And, they just survive and advance. Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon. You have the Stanton, as I mentioned, Judge, Soto, Wells, Anthony Rizzo. He's back for the ALCS. Glaber. They're just all vibing, and they are taking care of business now against Cleveland. But the Kansas City series, you knew they were the better team. They went in, they took care of business. And it's a cliche, but you have to win to advance in the playoffs. And they did. They took care of business. They saw the Royals on the schedule and they took care of business. So just evil empire activities. They're on the ALCS.
Yeah,
yes, you play to win the game. Yes.
All right, let's move on to our next series. Then we're going to talk about the Tigers versus the Guardians. And I'm going to start off on this one, and I hate the 3 words that I have for this are mid-off victor.
Oof.
Like, I feel bad about it, but really, when you look at these teams, there's not a whole lot that really impresses me. Like, when it comes to the Tigers, like I personally think they were the better team. But that's honestly just because the Tariq Skubal leading a pitching staff, as we've seen in the wild card round, can beat the Astros.
Mm-hmm.
But no, like, honestly, it went to 5 games because again, these were fairly equal in their skill level, and it came down to 1 game. Looking at the scores, Cleveland dominated game 1, Detroit dominated game 2, Detroit dominated game 3. Then it was a close game for game 4, and then Cleveland dominated game 5. Like, there was 1 game in this entire series that had less than a 3-run differential between the two teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just these two teams going back and forth, like almost like how you watch in a wrestling match here when the two that are absolutely exhausted are just taking shot at each other, just trying to get any sort of momentum. And then, Cleveland continued on.
Yeah. So my 3 words are they good? And this applies to both of these teams. I don't know if the Guardians are good at baseball. I don't know if the Tigers are good at baseball. And I don't mean that as a shot against the Guardians or the Tigers. If you boil down the teams to a couple main attributes, hitting, pitching, bullpen. Both teams have really good bullpens. Okay, absolutely. Cleveland does not have a pitching staff. They are running on fumes even now. It is game 3 of the ALCS. Your season, in fact, is on the line or will be on the line very soon. And you're not exactly confident in who you're throwing out there for game 3 of a playoff series or even game 2. Alex Cobb started game 1. Yes, Alex Cobb, a midseason acquisition who I don't even know if he's a good pitcher. This is a far fall from the teams that had Klubat and a man who is now pitching in Mexico and Clevenger and other like good pitchers. Like this was a team that when I was a kid, they had Cliff Lee and CC Sabathia. Like you got horses. Now it's like, where are you? They're all in the bullpen. Actually, that's the answer. And the lineup, you have Jose Ramirez. That's great. Andres Menes, horrendous season. Josh Naylor, good. His brother, not as good. Junkenzie Noel has some struggle bus moments, right? And it's a lot the same goes for the Tigers. Like Kerry Carpenter was dealing with an injury. He had the big homer off Class A, which was 3 out of the 4 earned runs Class A allowed in the series, by the way. He allowed 5 all regular season. You have Carpenter. You have Riley Green. Maybe you get something out of Cole Keith. Maybe you get something out of Torkelson. But it's just a lot of you're plugging and playing. And they were setting records for most players used in a game when you have all these bullpen changes and all these pinch hitters and pinch runners and defensive substitutions and flip-flop. Imagine that was a National League game. Oh my goodness. The lineup cards would be like, it would be ancient artifacts.
Novels.
Yeah, they'd be novels. It's just, I know it's playoff baseball. I get it. And I respect Cleveland for winning the series. They come back. They tack on all the runs against Scooble. Lane Thomas with the swing of his life. Just, I don't know if they're a good baseball team. Either of them.
I think that they're decent. Like, I just think that they have very obvious flaws that right now the Yankees are fully exposing from Cleveland here. And like you said, they both wasted everything they could just to move on to the CS here. And now you're seeing what happens when you're playing on fumes. But I still want, like, Cleveland to do well because 1, it makes for more baseball, but 2, I also just again Kyle Manzardo's my boy, so I'll always be rooting for.
Okay, Manzardo with all due respect to Kyle Manzardo, is he exactly the hitter you want hitting second in your lineup in a playoff game?
Yeah, he should be hitting first and second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth.
Okay.
No, he's my boy. So
I
agree with you. I'm just being fun with it.
Yes. Like, I don't know. It just feels off to me.
Give him some time to.
No. Like, that's not the problem. It's just.
Oh, I know.
Like, even if, okay, let's say it's not Manzardo. Outside of Jose Ramirez, who in the Cleveland lineup scares you out of the 2-hole? Like, okay, Jose Ramirez, great. He's going to hit wherever. He's going to scare you. Great. Josh Naylor is a good hitter. Okay, fine.
He's like a number 3.
Yeah, he's not a number 2 type hitter. You're a cleanup bat, really. And it's like, Quan is like a fine hitter.
Leadoff. He's a leadoff guy.
Yeah, like we had the conversation. Luis Ariz, by the way. We'll get to the Padres here in a minute.
We'll get to the Padres soon.
We'll get to the Padres. Yeah, I don't know if either of these teams are good at baseball. That's the problem.
Yeah. Like both teams, like again, they have good pieces, but one thing that I think that's gonna be really
awesome bullpens. I can't stress that enough. Spectacular bullpens.
But one thing that's going to be really good to see from them is that I think the next year, the American League Central is going to be extremely competitive because these teams that have now, we had 3 teams make the playoffs here from this division. So
frankly, they might be the second, third, and fourth most talented teams in the division with how Minnesota.
That's what's even funnier about it. Thank you, playoff system. But they're now when you get the taste of the playoffs here, and you see how far you're able to get, then you start getting that itch to make some moves to get better and to keep getting better. So I have a feeling the American League Central next year could be really scary. Aside from the White Sox.
That is the first time the Royals have lost a series in the American League playoffs since 1981.
Holy yay.
I need to fact check that. I believe that's the answer, but they won the World Series. They went to the World Series in 14, 15, and 85. And I think they went to the World Series in 82, lost to the Phillies, or not the Phillies. Okay, my bad. It was 1984. They lost the World Series in 1980 to the Phillies, but 1984 is the last time the Royals were eliminated in the American League playoffs. The previous 3 times they'd gone to the World Series.
Yep.
So
one of them at least. So
they did win the World Series.
They did. All right, moving on here
to 85 and 15.
Yeah. Moving on here to the last divisional series that we're going to talk about here, and that is on the National League side here. The Dodgers versus the Padres. I have a feeling you would like to go first on this one.
Can I have a clarification? If I say a number, is that one word, just a number?
That's one word, yeah.
Okay, even if it's like multiple, like if it's one.
Yeah, because usually they're hyphenated. So okay, you're
fine. My 3 words are 24 scoreless innings. Let me stress this. I'm going to get real close. San Diego Padres took a lead 6-5 against the Los Angeles Dodgers in Game 3. They did not score the rest of the series. That was 6 innings, the rest of Game 3, 9 innings in Game 4, and 9 innings in Game 5. And the 24 most important innings of your season, with 18 giving you a do-or-die chance to just advance to the next round and beat your hated rival Dodgers, including 9 at Petco Park, you scored 0 runs in 24 consecutive innings. This is a team that employs Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, Luis Ariz. I'm going to emphasize Luis Ariz, the batting champion, who everyone praises as the batting champion. Jurickson Profar will receive MVP votes this season. Jackson Merrill will receive MVP votes this season. Kyle Higashioka hit a bunch of home runs this season. Xander Bogaerts, former World Series champion. Jake Cronenworth had a pretty solid season. Did I mention Luis Ariz? I mentioned Luis Ariz again. Luis Ariz, the last 5 seasons, has 0 extra base hits in the playoffs. And you're like, oh, it's just a singles hitter. Yeah, that would be one thing. If he was just a singles hitter and was actually hitting he's hitting like 230. If you're like, well, that's 230. Aaron Judge hits 210 and he gets like actively pantsed by the media for hitting 210 in the playoffs. Well, Luis Ariz, world-renowned contact hitter, has the 3 batting champions, is compared to Tony Gwynn every 5 minutes, has a 232 batting average in the playoffs in the last 5 seasons, and 0 extra base hits and 2 walks. He is not driving in runs. He has 4 RBI in his last 47 4 runs scored in his last 47 plate appearances and has 0 RBI in this span. You can point out, well, he's a leadoff type. Then he should be scoring runs. He doesn't score runs. He gets on first 23% of the time and does jack squat else. He is not a good defensive player. He is not a good base runner. He provides no power. He has one tool, and when he's not doing that tool, he is not a good baseball player. He had no multi-hit games against the Dodgers. This is Luis Ariz, 200 hits in a season, 3 batting titles. I know it's not his fault. Like, you have other pieces around him, but like when you tell me, oh, Luis Ariz is the exact bat you want in the playoffs, no, he's not.
Yeah, no, I completely understand you on that point. Like, the playoffs are an entirely different beast. Again, you have players that only show up during the playoffs, and you have players
Kike Hernandez says hello.
Yeah, Kike Hernandez says hello. He might say hello again a little bit later. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
That's true.
Anyway, my 3 words for this are foot on gas. And it's very similar to what you were talking about here. After that last run was scored from San Diego, the Dodgers basically said, all right, it's go time, and proceeded to completely dominate on a hitting side, on a pitching side, every side. The Dodgers showed why they are in the playoffs here. Don't get me wrong. I think that the Padres are one of the most talented teams in all of baseball. The Dodgers are good. They are scary good. And when they go on these runs where they know where they're able to piece everything they have together, this is a dang near perfect baseball team. Like, starting pitching wise, yeah, you still have question marks because of the injuries, but that's because of injuries. You have this team at full power. When you have this team here, imagine next year, right? Mm-hmm. Next year, when you have Ohtani also pitching right alongside Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Oh my gosh.
They're going to go get Free, and they're going to get Roki Sasaki, and they're going to get Corbin Burns, and they're going to get Blake Snell, and they're going to sign Juan Soto, Alonso. I don't know where Freddie's going to play, but they're going to sign everyone.
Didn't Freddie, they're going to move into third base.
That's true. World famous third baseman, Freddie Freeman.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway.
They can sign Travis d'Arnaud to play second.
No, they're just going to bring Jorge Posada out of retirement to play second.
That's a good point. Or they can just play Mookie there.
Just, yeah, you know, I don't know. I don't think it worked out too well.
That's true.
Fair enough. Anyway, but yeah, this team, when it plays at the level that we saw during this 20-plus inning stretch, which by the way, they continued this stretch into the CS. Mm-hmm. Dude, this wasn't just the Padres. This was also against the Mets, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
Here, this team, when all the cylinders are firing, good luck. Is really all you can say. Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got.
It's a really excellent team. They have like 2 full rotations worth of starters on the IL. The bullpen showed up when it needed to, and they got just enough timely hitting to vanquish the Padres. And I will point out the Padres, a blow-up start from Dylan Cease in Game 4, and then Darvish gave them a really good start in Game 5. I mentioned it on the last podcast that I didn't exactly trust Darvish in that spot in an elimination game at Dodger Stadium, but hey, he held up his end of the bill. The bullpen, for the most part, held up their end of the bill. It's just the hitting. You can't win games, Sean Murphy said. You can't win games if you score 0 runs.
True.
Words to live by right there. And you can't lose games if you allow 0 runs, which is important.
Also, just having Yu Darvish versus Yamamoto starting against each other in the playoffs was truly cinema.
Chills.
It was awesome.
Chills.
Yeah. First time ever that 2 Japanese-born players started against each other in a playoff game, I believe.
I wonder.
An MLB playoff game.
Yes, that's true. I wonder if that was the first time 2 non-American players from the same country played.
I don't think so.
Probably not. So. That would just be my guess. Probably not.
That would be another Jason Stark trivia question.
That'd be a good one.
All right, let's move on then to the CSs for both sides. And we've kind of already touched a bit on Guardians versus Yankees, but let's talk about it anyway here a bit because there's still more to figure out with this. Currently, at the time of this recording here, New York leads the Guardians 2-0 here. And both games not astoundingly close, 3-run games here, both for New York on the head. Here and kind of like what you were saying earlier, the Guardians just feel like they're running on fumes. Mm-hmm. They don't look like they're playing at their full potential, and they have to be in order to have any chance here against the Bronx Bombers.
Yeah, this is just a talent gap to me. This is a situation where you go back 10 years with the playoff format not as diluted, and frankly, the Yankees, I think, are comparable to the teams you'd see 10 years ago. Ironically enough, 10 years ago was the Giants year. That was a really weak season. But regardless, you go back and I can look at this Yankees team and say, okay, they have a star here. They have a star here. They have, all-star level players here. And you look at the Guardians and it's like this team, it just feels like an 85-win team. I know they won more than 85 games and they had the power surge early on in the season and David Fry was an all-star. I understand that. But you only can get so much out of the platoon stuff. At some point, you have to have good baseball players and like good hitters. You can have plenty of good baseball players. I'm not disputing like Stephen Kwan's a great outfielder. David Fry can play everywhere. Jimenez is a terrific defensive second baseman, etc. But like the Yankees have Judge and Soto and Stanton and Jazz and Glaber. And I mean, Rizzo is more of a name than a bat at this point, but you at least have Anthony Rizzo. Like it's Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah.
And you Volpe is a Gold Glove defender, and it's just like that feels like a real team. And then you have Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon, and I mean Clay Holmes is kind of shaky, but Clay Holmes, he got some key outs, and it's like that feels like a real team. That feels like a team that in 25 years, if the Yankees win the World Series and they have their old timers day, you can Garrett Cole, Cy Young Award winner, Giancarlo Stanton's in the Hall of Fame, Aaron Judge, a couple MVPs, Juan Soto, 1,500 walks, 3,000 hits, whatever. Like it feels like sometimes you can tell the story when it's happening, and sometimes you have a shocking story, sometimes you have upsets, but a lot of times you can see the pieces fall into place. You can see, Aaron Judge is going to win a World Series at some point, or Juan Soto is going to win another World Series, or Garrett Cole is going to have these moments. And the Guardians, it's like outside of Jose Ramirez, do you trust these guys in these moments? Can you see David Fry holding a World Series trophy? I made the point with the Marlins when they traded Luis Ariz. Can you see Luis Ariz holding the World Series trophy for the Marlins? No. And bringing it full circle, you go to Cleveland, it's like Jose Ramirez, yes. The rest of the team, I don't think so. Maybe Emmanuel Clase, that works, but I don't know. I don't see. I can see Jazz holding a World Series trophy.
My thing right now is that I made the connection last week of the Detroit Tigers feel like these scrappy underdogs of a sports anime. So I feel that you have all these underdogs that if they can mesh together, they should be fine, but you just have all these pieces here. The Guardians are very similar, but this feels like, again, if this is the anime, this is the point where the Tigers are in the stands watching the Guardians get whooped because the Guardians spent everything they could to beat the Tigers, and now the Yankees are just there to pick up the scraps. The other thing I kind of want to bring up when it comes to this is if you take a look at the bracket for the postseason, this looked like about as easy of a path for the Yankees to make the World Series as you could possibly get.
Yeah.
You take a look at what they had. They had to bye first, which, okay, that's fine. But the winning team, it's like the winner of the wild card that you would end up facing is either the Kansas City Royals, who, again, we've talked about having talent issues potentially, and the Orioles, who you had played a lot over the season. This was a rival that you knew, and you felt like either one you could have taken. You probably would have taken your chances with the Royals than the Orioles here. And then guess what you got? You got the Royals. So now you take the Royals and you win that series. If you take a look at the other side of the bracket here, as much as I hate to say it, the best team on that side of the bracket is Houston. And Houston did not make it out of the wild card round because the Tigers were the anime protagonists in this time. And unfortunately, then the Protags did not make it to the ALCS as they were taken down by the Guardians. But because of that now means that as soon as the Astros were eliminated, that there's going to be at least one team in the ALCS that was from the AL Central. And as we've talked about before, yes, 3 teams made it to the playoffs. Doesn't mean that they were the best 3 teams.
You could argue they were the worst 3 teams. I know they did eliminate the 2 of the non-Yankee teams. I know that. But you could argue over 162 games, they were not the best.
Yes,
they were
we can
4,
make
5,
that.
and 6. I know Cleveland finished with the better record than Houston. That's not the point.
That's not the point we're making.
Yeah, and it's not even... This, to me, is not a Yankees point. This is a around the league point. I think the Yankees are a perfectly fine World Series winner. I just said a minute ago they have enough talent that I could absolutely see the Yankees winning the World Series. If you gave me 12 random playoff teams of all time and 11 plus this year's Yankees, and you said, the Yankees actually win this. I could see it. I could see it. If you said the Guardians win it, I'm like, that's that. I would be interested in watching how they won it.
I'd watch it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Texas last year. You could talk me into it. This is a loaded team talent-wise. You have Garcia and Seager and what Evan Carter was last year, at least, not so much this year. And Lowe was a Silver Slugger level player. And Heim had a great season. And Semi, it's like, where's the star power? It's like, oops, all mid.
You hate to see it, but yeah, you're accurate on this. But again, that kind of goes to what we're seeing here from the Yankees here is that you take a look at the postseason picture right now, almost every team in the National League here on the National League side of the bracket here feels like it's better than every team on that half of the American League brackets. I'll talk about the one that included the Tigers, Guardians, and Astros. And it really just felt like at that point that the winner wouldn't be from that side unless something amazing happened, which again, we've seen happen. We have seen amazing happen like countless times in baseball.
The Diamondbacks did make the World Series last year.
The Diamondbacks did make the World Series. I got to see Paul Sewald pitch in a World Series game, and I was very happy about it.
At least until he allowed.
At least until that happened.
Yes.
Different story, though. Anyway.
At least it wasn't the Astros for you, right?
Anyway.
At least
it wasn't the Phillies. Exactly. Honestly, last year's World Series was fun. Just because we didn't have any of the teams that had been in the World Series for the last several years. It was just fun. Like, don't get me wrong. I still hated seeing an AL West team win. I win it when that team was not the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, but I will say we're kind of used to that finale.
Which one? The Mariners not making the World Series?
Yeah,
I'm like, say yes. We're very used to that.
That's the one. That's the one that, yeah. But then again, I will point out that winning the World Series is the like 100th percentile outcome. In that, like, having a good season is not.
It's not enough.
Yeah, well, having a good season is not enough. Having a good season is not worth burning it all to the ground either.
Exactly.
Let's move on to the best. Let's talk about the best team since like June 1st, and that's the New York Mets.
True. Yeah, well, let's talk about the Mets here. As the Mets taking on the Dodgers here in the NLCS, and currently at this moment, the Dodgers lead the Mets 2-1. And I think I'm going to bring up something fun from our text.
Oh, God.
Here. Don't worry, nothing cancelable. But I find it honestly hilarious that back multiple times now it's gone like, we're so back, or I hate the Dodgers, series is over. And
yes.
like, look, I understand, like, you know, especially when you're in this kind of dilemma here, it feels weird to take a loss to the Dodgers when, as you know, you're the underdogs here. Like, that's not a question at this point. So it feels like every loss is the end of the world because it's another opportunity that's gone away. Whereas if you're the Dodgers, you're just trying to stave them off. Like, you're just trying to hold off.
That's all it is. It's a race to 4.
It is a race to 4. And right now, like, here's the thing. Like, it's not a 1 game left to elimination title for either side. Here, the Dodgers lead by 1 game. And so I honestly still think this series could go either way here. But tell me a little bit about what you're seeing. You've had a little bit more of a vested interest in this National League side of the playoff brackets.
Sure.
Not necessarily in the best way.
No, in a very toxic way. So let's talk game 1. The Dodgers did not allow a run. Like Alex left the cliffhanger, 33 consecutive innings. The Dodgers did not allow a run. Notice, did not go to 34 because Francisco Lindor hit a leadoff home run in game 2. Mets jumped all over the Dodgers. Vientos hit a grand slam. Had a funny soundbite when they walked Lindor to get to Vientos. It's like, why are you walking that guy? And he hits the grand slam. So just tumult there at Dodger Stadium. And then today, the Dodgers go in and take care of business in Queens. Ohtani hits his home run. Max Muncy gets on the board with a homer. Kike Hernandez hits another home run. What a time to be alive. And it's just been a good series. I think it's been a pretty good series so far. You have a lot of key moments for both teams. And I think, like you said, it's a race to 4. I said it was a race to 4, but you said the series isn't over yet. I think the Mets can come back and win the series. They do need to probably win 2 of the next 3. Well, actually, they definitely need to win 2 of the next 3 because if they lost 2 of the next 3, the Dodgers would get to 4.
There you go. We got the math, boys.
We got the math. But yeah, this is, take 1 of the next 2 in Queens, and then you live to fight another day, and you try to win Game 6 at Dodger Stadium, win Game 7 at Dodger Stadium, and hope you get Edwin Diaz closing it out at the end. So,
to be fair, I would absolutely pop off seeing Edwin Diaz try to close out a game of the World Series.
Unfortunately, he cannot close out the series in Queens here.
Yeah,
at least in the NLCS, but potentially the World Series if they were to win in. I don't recall how many wins they had in relation to. They had fewer than the Yankees. I don't remember how many they had in relation to the Guardians. I would imagine fewer than the Guardians. So it would have to be Game 4 or Game 5, which it seems unlikely they'd beat the Yankees or Guardians 4-0 or 4-1, but regardless, point stands. Imagine how electric it would be if Edwin Diaz comes out of the mound on Yankee Stadium, Game 7 to close out the World Series, bottom of the 9th, and he has to face like Judge, Soto, Stanton.
I want that. I want that so desperately.
And then our king, future Hall of Famer Giancarlo Stanton, taking him 500 feet.
No.
Yes.
No, I want to see. No, I want to. No, I'll tell you exactly what I would want to see on that one. And again, I'm not a Yankee fan, so I want to see it as he gets Judge to do a pop out to the outfield. He strikes out Judge, and Stanton. It's a high towering pop up into the outfield. Yeah, exactly. It's like towering pop up to the outfield and robbing a home run in the outfield there would be the greatest ending, just to watch the Yankee fans be so sour.
That would be, oh man.
Okay, I also had this horrible thought. This is something that should never enter the universe, but how messed up funny would it be if there was a glitch at the stadium, at Yankee Stadium, and they brought out Edwin Diaz and Enter Sandman started playing on accident? Like, I just had that brain image in my head, and now I am like absolutely enthralled.
That's how it would go in like a video game or a movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it'd be definitely in a movie. It'd be like in a sitcom. I think it sounds like.
It would be Seinfeld.
Yeah, I was supposed to say, it'd be Seinfeld. Be like, it's like, hey, Jerry, I just went into the video room, Jerry.
All right.
Anyway.
With that, World Series predictions, sir.
Yeah.
My World Series prediction originally was Astros Phillies. Thankfully, that went in the dumpster. And then the last round, or heading into the LCS, I don't think we made official prediction. I guess I would have picked Yankees Mets. But I think I'm okay with staying Yankees Mets.
Mm-hmm.
I would not like if the Mets won the next game, but for the sake of the prediction, it would be nice if they won the next game, because I don't know if they can beat the Dodgers 3 times in a row. But this is okay, great for the Dodgers. They take the 2-1 lead. You win the first 2 out of the first 3. You win the series like 65% of the time. Mm-hmm. And the Yankees have put themselves up 2-0. They just got to win 2 more. Either take 1 in Cleveland, or you got a stressed out crowd in Game 6 and Game 7 at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I don't remember what my prediction was last week. I think it was Yankees Dodgers. I want to say I took the no fun route. And I think I'm gonna have to stick with it. Okay. Like, I think that I like the Mets and I want the Mets to do well, if anything, just so the MLB burns. Because they posted a ad for the postseason that was just Yankees and Mets. Sorry, just Yankees and Dodgers, excuse me. Where it was just Judge versus Ohtani. And I'm like, you do remember there's 2 other teams in the playoffs there, right, MLB?
Oh, hey, those are the MVPs this year.
Yeah. It was not an ad for the MVPs. It was an ad for the playoffs.
I understand. But those are number 1 and number 2 marketable players in baseball.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm not saying they're not. I'm saying that if you're gonna make an ad for it,
it should have been Miguel Rojas and Jazz Chisholm.
No, they should have had the ad be.
Yeah, it really should have.
No, they needed it to be Clase versus Diaz.
Yeah. Hey, and then they're both walking home. One of them has a taser. One of them doesn't have a taser.
No, one has a trumpet. Anyway, regardless.
Okay.
Anyway, before we get
you're off the
super
rails,
copyrights.
it might be trivia time there, pal.
I think so. But first, before we get to trivia here, let us know what you guys think on Twitter at LAR_baseball here. Let us know, what is your World Series prediction? What do you guys think about how the playoffs have gone so far? Do you think that the Mets are going to pull off a miracle run here? Do you think the Guardians are going to pull off a miracle run? Go ahead and let us know on Twitter at LAR_baseball and on Instagram at the same handle. But it is now trivia time, and trivia always works a little bit differently when there's just two of us here, because we can't have two people going at it on this one. So I have, instead of just normal trivia, I have a challenge for Splash. Here, I put together a list here that I have found, and we've been talking about Kike Hernandez a little bit. Here, he's been doing pretty darn well. In fact, what is it? He has 14 postseason home runs in his career now.
I want to say 15 now, right?
I think it's still just
because he went today.
Yeah. Okay. Then he's at 15. Okay. 15. Then yeah, he's at 15. So he is tied for 19th most postseason home runs.
I was just looking at this list.
Career.
Shout out to Giancarlo Stanton.
He's
not on the list, but he's not on the list yet.
So what I want you to try and do is name as many players that in their career have had more postseason or the same amount of postseason home runs as one Kike Hernandez.
So I'm going for 15 plus, correct?
15 or more. And like I said, there are 19.
All right, let's fire off some easy ones. Manny Ramirez has the most.
Manny Ramirez number 1 at 29.
Jose Altuve, your man, is second.
Yes, he is, 27.
All right, Bernie Williams is at, I think, 20.
He's at 22. But yes, number 3.
Okay, we're going to go with Babe Ruth. He's at 15.
Babe Ruth is, tied at 15.
Okay. Mickey Mantle.
Mickey Mantle is at 18, yes.
Reggie Jackson.
Also at 18.
Okay. Oh my! I had a total brain freeze. Okay, Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter is on the list, number 5 at 20.
Okay. Now got to buckle down. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 5.
Yeah, you so far have named 1, 2, 3, 5, 12, 13, and 19.
Okay. Jim Thome.
Jim Thome, is number 16 with 17 homers.
I believe Miguel Cabrera is on the list. If he's not on the list, he's at 14, which would be really sad.
Miguel Cabrera is not on the list.
Okay.
I don't have the number here. My number only goes down to the top 25.
Okay, because I think he's at 13.
Yeah, if he is, then he'd be tied. He'd be tied then for another number. Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be tied with Stanton. Okay. Okay.
So that's your first.
David Ortiz. David
Ortiz is at 15 with 17 homers.
Okay. Alex Bregman.
Alex Bregman is on the list. Number 6 at 19 homers.
That's crazy. Corey Seager.
Corey Seager tied with Bregman at 19.
Oh, okay. At a certain point, it's just who played in enough playoff games.
Exactly. Like I was surprised at this list, like how many people played this many playoff games.
Carlos Beltran, I know, is ahead of Stanton on the regular season list. I'm going to say Carlos Beltran.
Beltran is correct. He has 16.
Okay. So
he's at number 17.
So how many do we have right now?
Yeah, so far you still have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, and 19. So you're still missing a good few.
All right. Kyle Schwarber.
Kyle Schwarber is the biggest one that you haven't gotten so far. He's number 4 at 21.
All right. Nelson Cruz.
Nelson Cruz is on the board at 18 homers.
Okay.
11th on the list.
All right, let's knock out a couple Astros. Carlos Correa.
Carlos Correa, number 10 on the list, 18.
Okay. George Springer.
George Springer on the list, number 8 at 19.
Okay. Okay. Chipper Jones.
Chipper Jones is not on the list.
He's a close, like 13 or 14. Okay. Albert Pujols.
I can tell you right now, he does not have 14.
Okay, he'd be at 13 then. Albert Pujols.
Albert Pujols is on the list, number 9 with 19 homers.
Oh Lord. Okay, so I'm missing. Like
so far, right now, you have not said number 7, I believe. You have not said number 14 or number 18. Or number 20. Oh, sorry, never mind. You don't need 20. Never mind.
Okay.
That's a different number.
Okay. So
you're doing really well.
So those Yankees teams, Red Sox teams. I don't think any Giants would have been on the list besides Beltran. I don't even know. He didn't homer for them. Did Beltran even play with the Giants? Oh, I'm thinking of. Okay, whatever.
Still have 2 strikes to work with.
I only have the 1 strike. I have 1 strike left.
Oh, yeah, you have 1 strike left.
Yeah,
I had Chipper Jones. Yes.
Okay. Said Bernie, got Altuve, Bregman, Correa, Springer. Miguel Cabrera is short. Chipper was the other short one.
Do you want some hints?
Sure.
Okay. So you have a total right now of, I believe, let's see here. 1, 2. Oh yeah, you only have 3 left, I believe. The list. You've done really well.
Okay.
2 of them are active players. 1 is not.
Wonderful. Okay. I know Aaron Judge is close. I don't want to say Aaron Judge, but I know he has at least 13. I think he might be at 14. Are we looking for guys with 15 or guys with 14?
Guys with 15.
Okay, I think Judge is at 14, so I'm not going to say Judge. I don't know if Barry had enough home runs outside of 2002 to be on the list. Garcia doesn't because he had a bunch last year. Rosarena, I don't think he's played enough playoff games outside of 2020. Did I say Jim Thome?
You did. You have already said Jim Thome.
Okay, I said Thome. I said Ramirez. I'm running out of names. Sammy Sosa, I don't think played in enough playoff games. McGuire, Mays, Robinson, Aaron, Ott, Matthews, Murray. Palmero, Killebrew, Edwin Encarnacion.
Is that your guess?
Yeah, that's my guess.
I'm sorry, that is your 3rd strike.
Okay.
The 3 that you were missing. Corey Seager.
I didn't say Seager. I thought I said Corey Seager. Okay, my bad.
Nope, you did not say Corey Seager.
With
19. The next, Bryce Harper, 17.
Okay.
And then the last is Jason Worth with 15.
Okay, Worth, I would have taken a while to get that one. I should have gotten Harper. I did honestly think I said Seager, so he didn't cross my mind again.
If you did, then I do apologize, but even then, I'll tell you what, I'll just say for the sake of things and for the sake of
I don't know if I actually said it, but mentally I thought I said Seager. So,
fair enough.
Yeah, we got Seager,
cool.
Okay. Yeah, my bad.
So you were 3 away from getting the full list, which is still plenty impressive.
Yeah,
although I still think one of the funniest parts of that was that you had the number 4 guy just sitting there forever, and Kyle Schwarber. He was sitting there.
Bernie held the record. Like Schwarber's never held the record. Bernie held the record, and Jackson and Ruth held the record. Mantle held the record. And then Manny had the record, but the guys that get lost in the middle there, that don't hold the record and don't set any records and aren't even the active leader because that's Altuve. So that's what throws a wrench into it. But GG's,
Exactly,
good trivia.
That was a good one. Yep. For that one here, again, let us know how well you did if you played along here with us. Were there any names that stumped you from if you were playing along with us on this? But it is now time for the moment to ourselves, where we take a moment to talk about whatever's on our mind. It does not have to be baseball related, but it absolutely can be. I would like to go first today, if that is all right with you.
Sure, you're more than welcome to.
Sounds good. Can you count me down?
Yep.
Mine's going to be real short. I'm just letting you know that right now.
3, 2, 1.
So my moment to myself, I just want to remind people, make sure you fact check. It is more important to be accurate than it is to be fast. I understand that speed is what kills in a lot of reporting nowadays. Be accurate, because otherwise sometimes you'll get the story wrong, and there's going to be a lot of people that are hurt from it.
Yeah, people do like spreading misinformation.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready to
go? Sure.
All right. Your time begins in 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's talk about the Heisman race for a moment, and I'm going to actually talk positively about both, like the main, to me at least, the main candidates in Travis Hunter and Ashton Genty. So in Genty's case, he is having the best running back season of all time, potentially. So 125-year history of college football. He might be having the best running back season. Okay, great. Travis Hunter is playing both ways at a level no one has seen in decades, like Iron Man football level stuff. Great. As far as I'm aware, Travis Hunter is currently hurt. So I think that is a point in Genty's favor that he's actually healthy right now. Boise State is on a bye this week. So I don't know. This is a fascinating conversation to me because Genty's Broncos are going to be more nationally relevant in terms of like potentially making a playoff game. If they win out, they make the playoffs basically. So if they go 12-1, they make the playoffs. Colorado is not as good. And at least with Boise State, they should be favored every game the rest of the season. Even against Oregon State, that's probably the best team they face unless one of the teams in the Mountain West, you take over Oregon State. That's fine. Travis Hunter plays both ways. Positive in his direction. You have the media coverage with Colorado, positive in his direction, but it's not as good of a team to me. If you had Colorado play Boise State, I think Boise State would be favored, maybe by a touchdown potentially. So that helps. And Genty is like the driving force on the team. There's the college football imperialism map that through right now, there's like 20 teams in college football that have more rushing yards than Ashton Genty. He's just unbelievable. He's like getting LaDainian Tomlinson comps. And there are players that don't get comps, right? There are like the one-of-one unicorn level players. I've never seen an LT comp. When you had the Barclays of the world coming out and Trent Richardson's coming out and these great running back prospects coming out, they weren't comped to LaDainian Tomlinson. You pick a different running back to compare them to, right? LT's a one-of-one guy. Ashton Genty is LaDainian Tomlinson, according to top guys. I have not watched enough film to say he's LaDainian Tomlinson without sounding like I'm an idiot. So Dane Brugler says he's LaDainian Tomlinson, and I listen to Dane Brugler because he watches a lot more film than I or just about anyone on the planet does. So I don't know. I would pick Genty, but I can understand a pick for Travis Hunter. And if Miami goes undefeated, Cam Ward makes sense to me too.
I mean, I respect Cam Ward, former Coug. John Mateer, I know, is in the conversation. Yeah, Cam Ward was a Coug for a couple of years.
I don't even know if they're undefeated anymore, though.
Yeah, that's fair. But no, I mean, no, yeah. If you are getting comps to LT, you're good. Yes. You are very, very good at football.
Remember, LT came out of the WAC. Okay, Miami is undefeated.
Yeah.
They play.
Cam Ward is.
They beat. Really they were on a bye.
That makes sense then.
Dylan Gabriel was in the Heisman conversation for the number 2 Ducks.
That, again, another insane game that took place recently on that one.
Shout out to people sliding late. You could argue it wasn't even late. All right, this isn't a college football podcast. I'm done. I'm out of.
Yeah, we probably should. Yeah, You know what it is, though? It is time for us to end off for the day. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. If you want to follow us on Twitter or Instagram, it's at LAR_baseball. We post a lot of really fun content here, mostly done by Splash. Splash does an amazing work with the social media channels. You want to follow him directly, you can go follow him at Mrs. Splashman19. Or if you want to, you can go follow me on Twitter at TheSportsGuy242. But from all of us here at Losses Above Replacement, we want to thank you for your time. Have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, and I hope to see you all real soon.